So welcome to Thursday night yoga therapy. And tonight we are moving into the lower back. We're working with side bends and back bends as well as core strength. Just finding your place on your back. You might want to use a mat because we're going to do lots of arching types of poses. Just lying down, and first of all, just finding your place. If you've had a busy day like I have, you might be in your mind and not in your body. So just notice first of all, with your legs straight, how your lower back feels. Feel that arch of the lower back. Most people will feel that little space. You can put your hand in there. You might leave it there as you bend your knees and just notice how that space decreases. So that's the first lesson of lower backs. What do I like better? Do I like legs straight or do I like legs bent? And this might also translate to standing and sitting. What feels better? Can I stay seated comfortably a long time, or is it easier for me to stand? Standing is more of a back arch. It's more like this. And seated is more like having your legs bent, a little bit more contracted. So let's take a moment, reflect on that. So you land in your body. I'm going to pick my favorite position right now, with my legs straight. I'm going to inhale, bring my arms overhead to my place. You could have a bolster behind you. And exhale, bringing your hands down. You can bring the arms side if you prefer, okay? If it doesn't feel good, the arms overhead like this are working your back muscles. Now, if you want to explore how that is, you could put one hand, just that little groove beside your spine, and see if you can feel the back muscles work, especially as you do that exhale. Can you feel the back muscle working? Now, if I'm moving my left arm, I have to put my hand on the left side. That can be a little tricky as you lie down. These deep, stabilizing back muscles, can you feel that? Anyway, experiment with that. You could move one arm at a time or both. Especially as you exhale, can you engage that core? In yoga, we call that core Mula Bandha, root lock. It's from the pelvic floor all the way to the belly button. And it also includes our legs and feet energetically. Maybe adding both arms. Notice the difference when you add the weight of both arms. Could play with, something I've been playing with in my own practice, is you could add the weight of a block in your hands. You could use a hand weight. You could use a couple of blocks. Each of these blocks is about a pound and a half. So that's an option. You don't have to. You can use a pillow. As you exhale, can you feel the effect on your back? Or maybe if it's comfortable, stay in the position. Tadaka Mudra, stay here. This is a back arch. My lower back is away from the floor. In this position, I'm going to exhale and create a contraction, a neutral spine as my belly draws in towards my spine. My lower back comes to the floor. Just notice the movement of the back as you breathe. Inhale, expanding, if you can, the chest and the belly, or just the belly if you're newer to my classes. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Feel the lower back come to the floor. Inhale, feel the back arch. Inhale, chest all the way to the belly. Exhale, belly draws in and chest falls. If your shoulders aren't comfortable, adjust the arms. They can be at your sides. You can also have your palms bent overhead. When you're ready, bring your hands down. And just notice how you feel. Again, you might want to adjust your feet, bend your knees, angle your knees in. And rest. We're going to move to the Pottipida Bridge. In this pose, you can put a block or a pillow between your legs. So this is a yoga block. We have these special blocks that are from the Iyengar yoga tradition. My teachers in India don't use any of these. They just use pillows and blankets and walls and scarves. So I am totally happy with you using home brew props. And it's nice to be able to use both, of course. Inhale, coming up, a physio ball is also wonderful for this. Inhale, lifting the back. Exhale, coming down. So you come down, can you squeeze that block? Inhale, coming up. This time, stay one breath. Exhale, squeeze the block in the position. Inhale, try to lift those hips higher. Press down with the hands, palms down. And exhale, rolling the spine down as you contract the belly and the chest falls. Pay attention to how the breath moves the spine. Inhale, coming up. This time, 2 breaths stay. Exhale, squeeze that block. Inhale, try to lift higher. Use those glutes. Try to lift higher. You can kind of poke your glute max and try to get it to work. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift again. And exhale, roll down. Squeeze that block. This is also very helpful for the knees and the hips for stabilizing the lower body. 3 breaths, this time staying. Inhale, lifting up. Feel free to have a blanket under your head, not a block, just a blanket or a pillow if your chin's up to the sky. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lift higher. And exhale, coming down. You should be starting to feel your hips and your lower back muscles working. One last time, we're going to try to stay 4 breaths. If this is too much, just take a rest. Inhale, coming up. Arching the spine from the chest to the belly. Exhale, squeeze that block. The back will become a little bit more neutral now as you exhale. You might feel that. Inhale, arch the back, lift higher. Exhale, squeeze the block, root down. Inhale, lift higher towards the sky. Exhale, root to the earth. 2 more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, centering. Might feel one of your knees working about now. Inhale. And exhale. exercise is surprisingly strengthening. Just take a rest. Bring your feet apart. Angle your knees in. Just notice how that feels in your lower back, creating that space with wide feet, knees angled in, hands on the belly. Let's just do some humming breath. Inhale. Inhale. Feel free to do this any pitch you like. You're all muted, so I have no idea what you're chanting. Inhale. Inhale. We're going to add Om. You can keep humming if you like. Every time you inhale, feel the lower back move away from the floor. As you exhale, feel the lower back come into the floor. Okay? Inhale. 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 When you're ready, just creating enough space around you so you can bring your knees side to side. A little bit more to the center of my space. I'm just going to do those windshield wipers side to side as counter for those back arches. Inhale, coming to the center once you have the movement, adding the breath. Exhale, coming to one side, drawing the belly in from the pelvic floor to the belly button, or just think of drawing the belly in. Inhale, center, exhale, other side. And this is a very simple pose, but I'm always amazed at where I feel it, depending on what sports I've been practicing. So yesterday I walked a lot, and I can really feel this in my thighs today. Another day I'll feel it in my back. You might be feeling it there. You might be feeling it in the outside of your hips. So it's targeting a whole bunch of different parts. You might feel it in your shoulders, your neck and shoulders. Part of working with the lower back is working with the hips and the legs and feet. So we're bringing a recycling of that curriculum in today. This is obviously more hips. In each of the asanas, most of them you can focus on at least two different parts of your body. So pick the part where it's going to have the most effect for you. Just finishing up. We're going to bring our knees to our chest, Apanasana. Now, today, what I want you to do is I want you to take, you're all at home, so you've got lots of stuff around. I want you to take a pillow or a block, something fairly slim. So a small, thin cushion or one of these yoga blocks, call them soft blocks. You bring the block no higher than your waist, the end of it. Bring your knees to your chest and just notice how having that little extra height allows you to bring your knees a little bit closer than maybe you could without it. This pose is called Apanasana. We're going to inhale knees away, exhale knees towards us. Some might feel better with knee injuries to have the hands under the knees. And if you want to challenge yourself, your hands down by your sides and try to move the pose without your hands on your knees. And try to work just that Apana region. Now, we're not doing it like Pilates. If you've done Pilates and your legs keeping firm like that, you let the lower legs rest. But I'm trying to move from the pelvic floor to the belly button with the breath as I bring the knees in and feel like my breath is like a fishing line pulling in my legs, reeling in my legs. And then as I inhale, I'm casting the line out again. I can't say I've ever been fishing, but this is my fishing metaphor. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. I'm drawing the legs in, using my breath, using those core muscles. And inhale. Now we're going to add some sound to this. We're just going to add a S sound. Or you could try a sh sound. So one of those two. Or you could add the humming, Brahmari. Decide which one helps you best. And when you feel ready, just stay in the pose, the full pose. You can hug your knees on top. If you have a knee injury, you might want to hold underneath the knees by putting your hands between the knees and the thighs. Apanasana. It's working on the downward flow of energy. It's grounding energy. And feel your lower back. Feel how it's getting a nice stretch. Now we're going to do one side at a time. So bring one leg out. And you can leave that block. You probably need to bring it a bit further down. Or you can get rid of the block, okay? So just try one side at a time. So Ekapada Apanasana. We're going to actually move in this. So we're going to inhale, bring the leg out as the arm comes up. And again, you might need to adjust that block or get rid of it. You can do this without a block. And then exhale, draw the leg in. I'm going to do this without the block. My back is saying it doesn't want the block, so listen to your body. Inhale, the leg coming out. Exhale, the leg coming in. I'm just doing my left leg right now to keep it simple, just one leg, and then we'll switch. We'll do this 4 times. One more time, inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. This is a pose that a physiotherapist might give you for your lower back. And this is also from classical yoga. We're going to do the other side. Inhale. Right arm coming up as you're lengthening that right side. Feel that back arch more on the right side now. Exhale. Contract from the belly as you draw your leg in and up. Draw that belly in. Feel like your core is doing that work. If it's too much for your back, you can bend the other leg. Okay, so you can have that other leg bent. If it is not comfortable to have that left leg straight, you can have it bent. All right, I forgot to mention that on the other side. So pick your medicine. It's very simple. Inhale, extend, exhale, bend. Feel that beautiful length when you inhale. You can stretch that right arm really long and exhale, draw it in using the pelvic floor, the lower belly, the belly button in. All those core stabilizing muscles, so important for lower back health. I have to say at age almost 52, I'm stronger in my core now than I was at age 25, a pre-professional dancer. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's definitely true. And I had so much lower back pain at that age, and I had no idea why. And it's because I didn't have much core stability. So I think we've done at least 4 times. Let's go back to both. Knees in. Let's bring the legs to the sky now. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, I want you to touch those toes down to the earth. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, touch the toes down to the earth. If you want to add on, you can bring the knees to the chest at the end of that exhale. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, touch the toes down to the earth. The further away the toes are, the harder. The end of the exhale, drawing the knees in. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, touching down. And drawing in. Last time. Inhale up. Urdhva Prasrita Padasana. Exhale, moving towards Apanasana, knees to chest. Just rest for a minute, feet wide, angle the knees in. Just rest the lower back. Observe the rise and fall of the breath. If you prefer, straighten your legs, Sutasana, gentle supine pose. What I experience when I do this rest, I feel a lot of energy moving down my spine into my legs and feet. Just notice what you might be experiencing. I also experience my side of my back and hip that doesn't work as well. It's like someone has put a whole bunch of energy in there. So it's all this feeling of energy moving down my hip and leg that normally doesn't work as well. That's what you're feeling in your body right now. So we're going to keep going. All right, so we're going to move into some leg and lower back stuff. So you're going to inhale, bring your arms up to your foot place overhead. They might not go all the way. You could have a pillow behind you or a bolster. Exhale, I want you to draw your left leg towards you as you bring your hands down. You could hug your knee. did this earlier. Now we're adding on. Inhale, leg extending to the sky. Exhale, bringing that knee into the chest. Again, you could hug it. Inhale, extend that leg long. This is also wonderful for the knees and hips. So going back to the legs and feet and the hips. We're going to do the other side. Exhale, draw the right leg in. Now, if this is too much, you could bend that left leg to help you. Inhale, extend that right leg up as the arms come up. Exhale, bringing the knee into the chest. And inhale, extend. I'll just keep this going side to side. Exhale, drawing that left knee in. Inhale, extend the leg to the sky. Again, wonderful therapy for the knees, lymphatic drainage. Exhale, draw the knee in. This is the lower back. Inhale, extend. Try to bring the core more into it. Start to exhale before you start to move, drawing that right leg in, using the core strength from the pelvic floor to the belly, moving very slowly. Maybe your hands by your sides so that you make sure your core is doing the work. Inhale, extending up. Exhale, if you want, you could touch the toes down. So this is a more core focus. Inhale, extend. Let's just do one more round left and right. Exhale, drawing in, decide your medicine, working more with your core, or maybe you want to stretch your lower back by hugging your knee in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend, perhaps touching the toes down, using the core strength, hands by your hips. And inhale, extend. Last time, right. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, rooting down. Inhale, arms up. Lengthen that leg. And rest. Exhale, bring the hands down. Stay with legs straight or bend the knees and just rest. Notice how you feel. Ready, you're going to flip onto your belly. We're going to strengthen the back from the other side. You could put a block or a blanket under the belly if you wanted to. So these blocks see me a little better. And you could fold a blanket and put it underneath your belly below your chest, if that feels better for you, or a pillow. And just finding your spot. Just a reminder, if you wanted to angle your camera down so I can see you better, if that works for you. And just as a beginning step, this is also very strengthening for the hips. So I'm going to put my feet right at the wall. I'm hoping you can see that, my angle here. And I'm just going to, this is also very strengthening for the knees. So I'm going to straighten my legs and I'm going to fold my hands under my forehead just to make this easier for you to hear me, but you might want to do the same. So I'm straightening my legs and my knees are off the ground. And then exhale, release the knees down. So I'm just turning my head so you can hear me, but keep your forehead on your hands. Inhale, straighten the legs. And exhale, release. This is wonderful for strengthening the knees and the hips, starting to work into the lower back. Inhale. You can also do this with a block between the thighs. It definitely takes the ante up or a pillow. Just keep that going. Inhale, straighten, exhale, relax. It's very simple, surprisingly effective. If you're not comfortable with your hands here, you can also take a block or a pillow and put it under your forehead and rest your hands by your side. Okay, so don't mess up your neck for this pose. Your hands can be anywhere that's comfortable. We're going to do the other side. We're going to keep going. We're going to lift one leg at a time. So inhale, that left leg up. I'm going to just rest my hands on my folded hands. And my right leg, I'm going to actually extend that with my foot down. So my toes are on the ground. I could tuck them under even. My knee is off and my left leg is lifting up. Exhale, release both. Inhale, other side. You could use the wall behind you to stretch to, as I'm showing. Exhale, release. Inhale, other side. Exhale, release. It's called Shalabhasana, Locust pose. The beginning of it, inhale. And exhale. So I really like using both legs as I do that. We're going to try adding the chest now. So bring the hands down. Just you'll decide how far forward you want your hands. Some people like this position. It's often called Sphinx, where you're not lifting very much. You might want your hands under your shoulders. This is more Bhujangasana Cobra, but when you add the legs, it becomes Shalabhasana. So just decide where you want your hands. We're just going to inhale, we lift one leg up and lift the chest a little bit or a lot. Now keep your chin tucked in case you, by lifting your head, you cause some pain in your neck or even a headache. That can happen. If you're prone to headaches, definitely keep your chin in. Otherwise, at the end of the inhale, you may lift your head. Just be careful that it's coming from lifting your chest. And exhale, release. So we lift the head right at the end of the breath. Or just keep it in. Now, my hands are doing a fair amount of work to help me lift my chest. That's okay. So just be careful for those of you prone to migraines. Keep that chin in. I'm going to do that now, show that. So I'm thinking the top of my head aligned with the base of my spine. Feel that work on your back. One more round. This goes wonderful for all sorts of back issues, including scoliosis. When you're ready, you're going to press back in any way that you can and come to child's pose. Now, if this pose is not accessible for you because of your knees, lie on your back and bring your knees to your chest. Okay, so this pose is not for everyone. Hip variation is you bring the knees wide, and you can use a big pillow or block or full bolster underneath the belly to bring the floor up to you. And this helps support the lower back. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm using 2 of these hard blocks for my body, right under my belly, between my legs. And I'm coming on that. And your back, your lower back should feel extremely supported with that prop. So it could be a blanket, it could be a cushion, it could be a bolster. As you inhale, feel your belly going into your block or your bolster or your pillow. Exhale, draw that belly in. Just feel that nice neutral spine being created by this. I'm just going to show a lying down variation for those for whom lying like that is hard on the knees, because that's a fixed frame pose. It's not for all positions. You might want to lie on your back with your feet at the wall, your feet wide. And this might be your child's pose, okay? For hip or knee issues, this might feel better. You want to move your feet until there's no effort involved. You ready? If everyone could come back to their back, lying supine. And we're going to straighten the legs again. I'm going to come more to the center of my space so you can see me for this. Okay. All right, so we're going to move into side bend as promised. So we're going to walk our feet first to the right. And I'm going to cross my right foot over my left. You might not want to do that. We'll just see how that feels. Feel that left hip go down. We're going to stretch that left side of the body. We're going to bring our shoulders over to the right and maybe holding opposite shoulders. We had a big full moon yesterday, and this looks like a half moon. So you could bring that moon bhavana to your consciousness. And inhale, expanding the chest, then the belly. Exhale, drawing the belly in, the chest falls, or if you're newer, just inhale, expand the belly, exhale, contract the belly. Just adjust the arms to comfort. Might be holding that top wrist. Might just be arms at the sides with the torso straight. Jatra Parvriti, Parshva variation. This is a digestion pose. This is used for indigestion primarily. And it's also stretching one side of the back at a time. This is a pose you can stay in a long time, most people. And when you're ready, release and going to the other side. Feet center, Supine, just in the center, and then bringing your feet to the left. My left foot is going to cross over my right and feel that stretch in my right hip. And maybe walking your shoulders also over to the left. Maybe holding opposite elbows. And just notice, I know for one of you with scoliosis, you're going to feel a big stretch here on the right side, and that's the same for me. This concave side of the back. If you have an S curve or even a C curve, you might have a little bit of concavity in this part of the back that needs to be stretched. For everyone else, just notice if there's any tightness in that part of your lower back, or maybe it's in your upper back. Inhale, chest to belly, exhale, belly to chest. And when you're ready, release. If you're doing this at home, you can stay 6 to 12 breaths per side. Just notice how you feel. Just as a counter pose, let's just do that windshield wiper pose again. Inhale, center, exhale, knees side to side. Or you might prefer knees to chest. You can decide if knees to chest feels better, you may do that. This is getting into the hips. Usually after staying in a pose, we want to do a moving pose to get the energy moving again, the prana flowing. Prana is a word that's similar to chi. And it's a word hard to define. It can be defined as energy. Energy is defined by physics as that which is potential that is actualized. So it's the actualization of potentialities. Moving from possibilities to realities. And just finishing up. So the last set, we're working some leg stretches, front and sides, before we move into our relaxation. And for this pose, if you could have either a blanket or a little pillow available as well as your belt. And just going to move that a bit. Lots of room. but you want to have a fair amount of space for this one because we're going to be bringing our legs to the sides. I'm going to start with my right leg just so you can see me. You can start with your left if you like, or start with your easy side. In yoga therapy, we often start with the easy side. So just stretching the legs long. I have my feet at the wall, which I always like to do to align my hips. And then I'm going to bring my right knee in, and I'm going to put that belt on the ball of my foot. The other leg can be bent. This makes it much easier. We could also go to the ball. So this is back to the legs. So tight hamstrings, which you will have if you exercise lots in various sports. You likely have tight hamstrings. They can cause the pelvis to rotate in a direction that's not helpful for the lower back. Inhale, straightening the leg. Exhale, bend the knee into the chest. And I've written an article on lower back pain that I will try to remember to send to you, or put actually in the video link. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. This is also working into the hips, of course, and the lower back. I really like this version with the foot to the sky because it really adds some traction to the lower back and the opposite hip. So I don't know if you can feel that. I feel a lot of decompression in my right lower back right now, as well as my left hip. See if that's true for you. So going back to the basics of the first 4 weeks of our course, and then we're going to bring the leg to the side, get into that groin. I wanted to do this last week when we were working with hips, but we're doing it for lower back today. Inhale, opening, and exhale, if you like, you can bring it across a little bit to the other side. Inhale, opening. And exhale to the other side. Opening. All these leg movements are so helpful for the lower back. And then staying in that open position. Now, some of you might want to add on to get into that QL, quadratus lumborum. You can take that left foot and walk it a little bit to the right. See how that feels. And if you want to add on further, hold that belt with your left hand overhead. And walk your body over to the right. So this is quite strong. But some of you have been with me for a while, so I'm going to give you the full thing. And this is a little bit like Janu Shirshasana Parivriti, if you know that pose. For those of you watching the video or in the class, this is a supta version, a supine version I created for my own back. And I've used it with lots of people with scoliosis in particular and other imbalances in the pelvis and hips that affect the lower back. So I call that a yoga therapy surgery pose. It's pretty strong medicine. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to the center and release. Send the knee to the chest for a moment. And go to the other side. So I like to make a loop with my belt. I belt it into a loop. My left leg is to the sky, my right leg is straight and pressing it to the wall, or you can bend that leg, which makes it much easier. It gives your hamstrings a bit more length. Try to keep that left buttocks on the ground. I've got my prop ready to go on the outside of my left hip for that opening. It can be a pillow, a blanket, a jacket. Exhale, bend that left knee towards the shoulder. And inhale, straighten, and just notice where you feel this. In your hip, might be feeling this in your hips, in your hamstrings, and in your lower back, all those areas. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. I'm putting a fair amount of pressure with my belt. Bringing my knee a little bit towards my shoulder, my left shoulder, just in case you're finding it hard to figure out where to put your leg. You might want to keep that going longer if that feels good for your body, or moving into that Parshva pose, that side pose, holding the belt both sides with your left hand and wrapping the belt around my hand. Inhale, opening to the side. If you have a wall here like I do, it's really nice to press into it. And exhale, bringing it across a little bit or a lot. You might need to adjust, and we'll move over just a titch. Inhale, opening. So open to your max. And I have that block there that's just helping my hips not get out of alignment. It's not necessary. Classically, there's no block there. It's just to bring awareness to the alignment of your hips. Inhale, opening. Exhale, cross. Feeling the two sides of the hip, the outside, the inside. When you're ready, just staying in that open position. If it's comfortable, walking that right foot over to the left. So that stretch in that QL area. And if you want to intensify that, you can hold this belt with your right hand overhead. Shift your shoulders over to the left. And create a big side bend. And if you have compression in that right side of your lower back, that QL area, you will feel this now, I'm sure. You might feel it in your upper back if that's your tight spot. Just breathe in here. Back to the center. Finish up. Legs to the sky. I'm just going to stay here, and I'm going to put my hands in namaste, my legs to the sky, and I'm just going to end the class like this. And you may stay longer if you like, in Shavasana or legs up the wall as we close. Breathe. Breathe. Hands to chest. Down, hands to heart. Namaste. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.